Hey guys, Jimmy V here, Marine Corps veteran, mortgage loan originator specializing in VA loans. And today we're discussing VA property requirements, right? So I think there's quite a bit of, how would you say, confusion perhaps surrounding this area for veteran home buyers, which is exactly why I want to discuss this with you. What does VA look for as it relates to the property inspection? The truth is that there's really no such thing as a VA inspector. Did you guys know that? In other words, there's no property inspection required on a VA loan per se. However, right? In my opinion, it's always a good idea to consider paying for one in advance upfront to ensure that the property that you're purchasing is, well, good to go, right? You want it to check all of the boxes, you want it to be safe, you want to make sure that there's kind of no lingering maintenance issues, things of that nature. So a home inspector, they're going to do a deep dive into the property to inspect specific areas related to, again, the overall health of the home. Now, a VA appraiser, there's a difference between these two things, right? A VA appraiser's primary focus is to appraise the property, right, and ensure the home is in working order by viewing it through the lens of something called MPR. Now, this is an important term that we use in the mortgage industry. It refers to minimum property requirements. That's what the VA appraiser is going to be looking for, right? So now that you've elected to order your appraisal after the home inspection, of course, right? So you don't want to order a VA appraisal during the time of the home inspection because you might be on the hook for $600, right? So you want to wait until after the home has cleared the inspection. So the VA appraiser, they're going to go out to the property, look at the home, right? And they'll be looking for the following kind of areas of the home, making sure that it checks these boxes, right? The property needs to be safe, the property needs to be sound, and the property also must be sanitary. Highly important. Safe meaning no safety hazards present, right? Like things like exposed electrical wiring, broken windows, or anything else that would be considered, again, unsafe for the property. Now, related to the home being sound, I interpret that to mean that the home needs to be in working order, right? Door, lock, windows, and running water. You guys with me on that? Lastly, sanitary. Pretty straightforward, making sure that the property doesn't have any mold, right, or anything else that would be related to sanitary concerns, plumbing, etc. So if you're following me along so far, there's a couple of other things that I want you to be aware of. Now, over the course of my career, I've seen this particular kind of concern get called out more and more on VA appraisals, and that relates to something referred to as chipping paint. Jimmy, how do you mean exactly, right? Well, in fact, I just had one called out yesterday on a VA appraisal that we received. If there's a presence of chipping paint, the VA appraiser will likely call it out, and it needs to be scraped, right, and repainted prior to closing, right? This is always going to be called out on a VA loan. It falls under some of those safety concerns that I mentioned earlier. Lastly, the termite report, all right? In most states across the nation, there are some exceptions to this, but VA loans will always require a termite report. The property may not have any evidence of termites, and if it does, right, it'll need to be treated prior to the closing, right? Either the seller has to pay for it or the veteran can elect to pay for it as well if they choose to do so. So it's important that I get a copy, as your mortgage loan originator, a copy of that pest inspection report in advance to ensure that there's no issues related to termites, as well as something called conducive conditions. These are things like faulty grade, wood to earth contact, or excessive moisture. Think of it like this: anything that can lead to termite infestation. So that's a little bit about VA property requirements. If you have specific questions, know that my team and I are always here to be a resource. Comment down below with your questions and I'll do my best to make sure that they're answered. Talk to you soon.